Please keep your microphone on mute mode, because background sound is coming. It will be very difficult for me. Okay. So today's topic is well known for everybody, and this is very important one because am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, okay. Now you put your microphone. So this is very important and well-known topic, I can say, because everyone might be hearing the name of tuberculosis. It's very, very prevalent in our climatic conditions, like developing countries who are located in the subtropical region.
सर आवाज नहीं आ रही है।
आवाज नहीं आ रही?
सर बहुत धीरे आवाज आ रही है, बहुत स्लो।
हाँ, अब जा रही है आवाज?
हाँ
नेटवर्क
सर, अभी
प्रॉब्लम?
आती है, फिर अभी आती है। अभी आप बोले तो अभी ठीक है, और फिर आप जब बोलने लगते हैं ना तो लगता है कि वो एकदम बहुत दूर से बोल रहे हैं।
अच्छा ठीक है, नजदीक अभी जा रहा है। हेलो।
यस सर, यस सर।
चलो, ठीक है। So there are so many synonyms, PTSs and other in Hindi it is called as topic. And this is also equally implementable in the animal liver. Okay. So all lecture has been divided into several heads, and one by one we will discuss about that. Definition, etiology, vertical discussion. Mode of transmission, survivability of microbacterium bovis, population at risk, incubation period, clinical symptoms, postmortem lesions, morbidity and mortality, morbidity diagnosis, sample collections, differential diagnosis, treatment in human as well as in animals, prophylaxis and control,
सर
vaccine.
आवाज नहीं आ रहा है।
आवाज नहीं आ रहा है तो फिर क्या करेगा? अभी तो चलेगा, कभी ब्रेक होगा, कभी आएगा। प्रयास करते हैं हम लोग ठीक करने का। जूम का ही प्रॉब्लम है, अपना प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। ठीक है। एकदम नहीं जा रही है आवाज। हेलो।
सर वही होता है ना, अभी आप जब बोल रहे हैं ना अभी, तो अभी अच्छा हो रहा है। उसके बाद है ना, जब आप बताना शुरू करते हैं ना, तो उसके बाद लगता है कि गया, आवाज साफ हो गया।
चलो ठीक है। सबको पता है बोवाइन ट्यूबरकुलोसिस इज अ chronic bacterial disease of cattle and many other animals, clinically characterized by severe debility, loss of body weight, continuous temperature, anorexia, and temperature usually rises in the evening. And if the animal is in producing a stage, the gradual decrease in milk production is also noticed. So these are the some clinical findings by which we can suspect that this is the case of tuberculosis. Okay, so as you all know, this is a very important zoonotic disorder, disease, and it can spread to human beings very easily by inhalation of aerosol or by ingestion of unpasteurized milk or milk product. Okay, am I audible? Hello.
यस
यस
सर।
सर, यस सर, यस
Yes.
सर।
So, as far as bacteriological characteristic of this particular bacteria is concerned, it belongs to gram-positive group and having acid-fast nature. That's why sometimes it is called as AFB, acid-fast bacteria. And different species of animal having different subspecies of mycobacterium, like mycobacterium tuberculosis. Mycobacterium bovis affects cattle, buffaloes. Mycobacterium capri affects goat. Mycobacterium canis affects dog. So these are the specific species, specific bacteria And as you can see in the slide, Bovis and Capri is supposed to be the genetic in nature. Okay, so this has to be kept in mind while dealing with the mycobacterial infection. And where do this particular disease occur across the globe? So it has been studied extensively, and it is endemic in the underdeveloped or developing countries like us. And us and African, South Africa, part of Asia, and some Middle Eastern countries are most endemic for this particular disease, that means tuberculosis. And some of the countries having very less incidence of this disease, and ongoing eradication program in those countries day by day reducing the cases of tuberculosis like UK, USA, New Zealand, Japan, and Mexico. But apart from these, so many countries of the world has already eradicated TB from their land, like Australia, Iceland, Denmark, and so many countries are in the list, which is free from tuberculosis. So our country should also eradicate tuberculosis as we did in case of पोलियो. पोलियो हो गया ना खत्म हमारे यहाँ से, तो हमारा प्रयास होना चाहिए कि ट्यूबरकुलोसिस भी हमारे कंट्री से ऑलमोस्ट इरेडिकेट करें. Now come to transmission. So there are so many ways of transmission. First, we'll discuss about the animal to animal transmission. And animal to animal transmission is very common, and it is of two types. One type is called horizontal transmission, and another one is called vertical transmission. So vertical transmissions is not so much significant, and main and most significant is the horizontal transmission. Horizontal transmission means inhalation of aerosols, ingestions of undigested or semi-digested food, meat, unpasteurized milk, protein in skin. These are the important ways of transmission of mycobacterium from the infected to the healthy ones. And shedding of bacteria, fusion of bacteria through the feces, milk, and discharging lesions, saliva, vaginal discharge, food, semen, and urine. Also, one of the important source of transmission to the healthy animal. Close and prolonged contact of healthy animal with infected. This is also important. But if we can compare above two mode of transmission, this is less important than the above. And intensive livestock farming is another important aspect or factors which exposes the healthy animals to the uh, mycobacteria. And extensive livestock farming, like vaccination centers, where so many cattle or so many animals are coming to get vaccinated. There are centers. That means wherever there will be congregation of animals, chances of a spread of mycobacterium will be more. So we should be cautious to allow the animal, before allowing the animal in congregation, the veterinarian has to check whether the animal is free from like auction market, transportation, ponds, fields, streams, tropical area for grazing or gathering. So these things should be considered. Vertical transmission, as you all know, this is a transmission from the mother sperm to fetus. So these are the important routes of transmission, and animal to animal. And another one is animal to human. That means human may get infected by the infected animal. So pulmonary TB, if the cattle is or buffalo is suffering from tuberculosis and healthy individual come in contact with the may get infected. And if it is transmitted from through the aerosol or through respiratory system, it will cause the pulmonary tuberculosis. And if we will get the infection through the ingestion of unpasteurized or uncooked or infected meat, then GI form of tuberculosis. HIV people is more prone to getting infected with tuberculosis. Now, human to animal. This is very rare because human to animal Mycobacterium tuberculosis is very, very less pathogenic to the animal. So, human to animal transmission is rare. Urination in cow sheets, pastures, animal grazing, salt, grazing there may get infected and genito-urinary transmission may occur and will affect the genito-urinary system. Human to human transmission. If there will be very close contact, then only the bacteria will transmit from healthy individual. And those who are immunocompromised may get infected. That means HIV infected individual may get infected. So by seeing this flow diagram, you can very well appreciate and very well understand how tuberculosis will be transmitted from man to animal, and farmer, farming to cattle, and cattle to wildlife, and again wildlife to cattle. These are the cycles you can appreciate in this diagram. Okay. Next one is the survivability of Mycobacterium. Mycobacterium is considered to be the more very, very uh, hardy. That means it can survive for several months in cold, dark, and moist conditions. Up to 24 degrees Celsius, 12 to 24 degrees Celsius, can survive to 332 days, almost 1 year. And this is very susceptible to exposure to sunlight. Once it will come in contact with sunlight, it will be killed. Will be killed due to exposure of sunlight. So this is very important ways to control sometimes to expose the bacteria in sunlight. Population at risk. What are the population which are at more risk? So we are you must have learned about tuberculosis in pathology and somewhere also. I think in GPH. So occupational risk you must have heard. Occupational risk means the persons who are involved in the animal occupation. That means either farmers, abattoirs workers, veterinarians, laboratory technicians, sample diagnosis, animal caretakers in zoo, workers in animal reservations and national parks, those associated with living animals and working with them. So these are the occupational risk. These are the persons which are most prone or most susceptible to get to be infected. Okay, and as far as age is concerned, infants and old age group human being, or you can say neonates, are more susceptible to the pregnant women are more susceptible to tuberculosis. Now come to consumption related risk factors. That means what are the consumables which is posing threat or which is responsible for transmission of bacteria to the healthy individual or healthy susceptible individual. First one is the nutritionally deficient people. Those who are nutritionally deficient will suffer from the immunodeficiency because immunity depends upon the nutritional factor. If there will be adequate nutritional factors available in the body, our immune function is normal, otherwise it will be reduced or we get uh, reduced in working capacity or capacity of immune mechanism decreases. Okay. Next is the consumers of unpasteurized milk. This is very much used in rural areas. You may have seen, might have seen so many people directly consume milk from the udder. That means they directly take milk in mouth while milking the animal. Raw meat, undercooked meat, these are the conditions comes under the conventional related risk factors. And some of the medical conditions which also favors or also makes the prone for the infections microvectome, such as HIV positive man, twins, diabetic persons, previously infected with the TB patients. These are the more prone or more susceptible to getting infected with the microvectome. And now come to the incubation period. This is very important. Sometimes it takes months to develop the clinical signs, and sometimes it remain as carrier and dormant, you can say, for years, and reactivating during period of stress or old age when the immune mechanism of the person concerned or infected reduces the what we are starting growing and flourishing and all this stuff. But normally you can say that 2 to 5 weeks is the standard incubation period. And experimentally, the kittens IP is found to be 3 weeks. So you can say that 2 to 5 weeks is the normal incubation. Now come to the clinical science. So clinical science is very much important because uh, the treatment is not done in animal, but for the sake of prevention and for the sake of restriction of transmission from the human or animal, since it is a genetic in nature, it is very important to contain the disease. Okay, in human, though we are related to the animal practice or animal treatment or animal diseases, but when the case of tuberculosis comes to us, that means we have some knowledge about the tuberculosis of animal item, human being item. Okay, so bad cough that lasts 3 weeks or longer. This is the most important prominent features of respiratory form or pulmonary tuberculosis. Pain in chest, coughing of blood or phlegm from the deep inside the lungs, weakness and feeling very tired. These are losing weight uh, uh, without anorexia, having no appetite, chills and fever, sweating at night or when sleeping. These are the important manifestations you can appreciate in case of human being. In animals, early on it remains asymptomatic because this is the volume of lungs is much large than the human. So in earlier stage it remains is asymptomatic. Okay. Later stage progressive emaciation and low grade fluctuating fever will be noticed and it will proceed to weakness and inappetence. And again inappetence in pulmonary involvement and moist cough that occurs in the morning during cold weather or exercise, dyspnea, and technique. In terminal stage, animal becomes very much emaciated and there will be acute respiratory distress and associated lymph node will be enlarged, like retropharyngeal lymph node and mediastinal pulmonary cavity lymph nodes will enlarge in size. And if the digestive tract is involved, uh, there will be the intermittent diarrhea, constipation, and uh, loss of appetite. These are the things we observe in case of GI form of tuberculosis. Now come to the postmortem finding. What will be the postmortem finding? Everybody might be knowing. You must have read in pathology. Tuberculous growth. Tubercle is the important, or you can say that the diagnostic nature, confirmatory diagnosis during the postmortem. and I am not going to explain in detail about the granuloma, as you must have learned in the pathology. Usually, Eloise, either caseous or caseocalcareous or calcified granuloma will be present in the lungs, or if the GI tract is affected, you will find it in the GI mucosa or GI lumen. Often, these granulomas are encapsulated and associated lymph nodes, particularly those of the head and thorax, and uh, omentum and mesenteric lymph node is also very much affected, and granuloma will be evident in those lymph nodes. Common in lung, spleen, liver, and surface of body cavity. Several body cavities will be affected with granuloma. And as far as morbidity and mortality is concerned, if the animal is infected with Mycobacterium bovis or tapri or anything else, specifics are there. So once the animal will be infected, there is, and if not treated, the mortality is 100%. Nobody is going to save them. And in human being, the mortality is sometimes uh, very less as compared to animals, because in human beings treatment is available, and the treatment is done in animal, but animals are left without treatment. There are so many pros and cons that you may go in detail. You go uh, through the textbook, wherever we find the detail about the why the treatment is not recommended anymore. So morbidity and mortality, the very important. Morbidity is not clear-cut reported, but if one animal is infected in a farm, organized farm, I'm talking about, the chances of getting infection to other animal is also there. And once the animal gets infected, the mortality is nobody is going to. So one CFU is responsible, effective dose is one CFU. Means if the animal is exposed to one CFU, that is foreign farming unit, and human respiratory route 10 to 100 bacteria is enough to cause the infection. But if the GI tract form is still there, then millions of bacteria is required to stop the infection. Now come to diagnosis. Diagnosis is very much important. At least we have to diagnose the cases in animal as well, because we need to contain the disease to prevent the genetic transmission from the animal to human or other animal. So first and foremost diagnostic method is the SID. Must have heard the name, single intradermal test. So, and double intradermal tuberculin test. So, so many tests are there, but this is very important. And one drawback of this test is it has less specificity. That means false positive reaction is always there, and we should not 100% rely on, should not 100% trust on the tuberculin test. So SID, what we do in SID, we take caliper to measure the thickness of the skin in the neck region or caudal fold of anus, and before introduction of PPD into the dermis, we measure the thickness of a skin with the help of caliper, and 0.1 ml or 5 to 10,000 international PPD, or you can say that zero point 0.1 to 0.2 mg. Three measurement units are there. So if in any unit question may be asked, so keep it in mind, and inject it intradermally, not subcutaneously. It should be injected in dermis. That means if the PPT will go to the subcutaneous figure, there will be false negative reaction, false negative result will get, and the sensitivity will reduce. And this has the very less specificity. Okay, specificity and sensitivity you might be having knowledge about this. So I'm not going in detail about the specificity and sensitivity. Okay, and double intradermal test is having less, more specificity uh, as compared to the SID, single intradermal test. So what we do is double intradermal test, and it is also called as Stormont test or comparative test. Okay, so what we do in Stormont test, we inject the PPD at a site in the neck region, and again on the same site after 7 days, same quantity of tuberculin is detected at the same site, and if the animal is infected, it will show the increase in thickness beyond 5 millimeters within 12 to 15 hours. Okay, so this is called Stormont test or DIT. You can say. Another test is called short thermal test. Short thermal test is also a kind of intradermal test in which we infuse the 4 ml of intradermal tuberculin intradermal dermis, and within 2 to 4 hours there will be elevation in body temperature up to 3 degrees Fahrenheit. It will uh, confirm the it is a case of tuberculosis. So many tests are there, and one thing you should notice. Another thing is that comparative test. This is also called as a double intradermal test. You can say because we need to differentiate between uh, Mycobacterium avium or Mycobacterium paratuberculosis or Mycobacterium bovis infection. So simultaneously, we need to give the tuberculin injection at 2 sites or 3 sites for the comparative detection of increase in thickness of skin. And another example method of diagnosis is the microscopic examination of acid fast bacteria. Acid fast bacteria can be seen in microscope, inhalation method, staining. Fluorescent acid fast staining is also there. Isolation and selective culture media. PCR, biological safety diagnosis can be used for doing this kind of diagnosis. Okay? Now, wildlife. These tests we can apply in the cattle and can say in domestic animals. But in wildlife, there is very sensitive test is available that can be done that is called lymphocyte. SCR this can be these tests can be done in case of wildlife. Now, how to collect sample while doing the postmortem examination or even from antemortem stage? Sample from live animal, that is called antemortem collection of. So a sputum and other body fluids can be used as a specimen for the detection of mycobacterium. Blood samples as well, we can take blood samples for the determination by simply by acid fast staining check whether there is a presence of mycobacterium or not. Even body fluid can be stained with the help of DNA. So, sputum. And sample at necropsy while doing the BM examination, you can collect these kind of sample that we abnormal lymph nodes, lungs, liver, skin, and doing the histopathological examination. You can confirm that so these are the important ways to which we can.
सर जैसे ब्लड सैंपल है और स्पुटम है तो उन दोनों में कोई एक लेंगे तो हो जाएगा ना उससे टेस्ट सर?
हाँ हो जाएगा. अगर if there is a pulmonary tuberculosis, then
Yes, sir.
sputum will serve the purpose. Okay. If
Yes.
there is a GI tract form or digestive tract form of tuberculosis, sometimes the mycobacterium do not come in there. Okay, but from pulmonary tuberculosis will definitely come. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
so differential diagnosis, as far as differential diagnosis is concerned, so many organism resembles, uh, so many disease resembles the symptoms like this, like CVD, Shigella, Chronic pneumonia, pneumonia, some, but, but all of them must have some differentiating point. You must have learned about these disorders earlier, so you must be able to differentiate tuberculosis. Now come to a treatment. So treatment is not recommended in large animals because the cost being very high and economically it will not be feasible from almost all but one or two animals distance like but human beings, so many drugs are available, and for laboratory animals or for medical animals, it is recommended. Drugs like isoniazid to function on the drug are at least 6 months. But MDRTV, you must have heard the term MDRTV. That means multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. In this particular situation, the treatment is for at least 2 years, and the cost of treatment would be 3 lakh per year. This is very costly affair. So the people are not doing the treatment, not treatment is not done in case of anyone. This is the reason. Financial implication is there, which makes the treatment is uneconomical or not feasible. Okay. Now come to prophylaxis of control. Why control? Control is necessary because risk of infection to human being, loss in productivity, and animal market restrictions set by country. If your country declared to be the tuberculosis free, so export or trade embargo will be removed. Okay, because the country free from tuberculosis will not import anything of animal or in our country. So, if we need to have if want to remove the import or export embargo on our animal products, our country should do okay. Trade to endangered wild animal species because the endangered wild species also go to with the infected livestock. So control is utmost essential. Because why the control program in developing country like us fails, not success. So there are a lot of reasons which makes the unsuccessful control program in like our any country who comes to developing or under. So reason behind it is that we cannot shoulder the cost of eradication and compensate for climate. Limited access to education, poor information network, lack of digital service. So these are the important things which makes the control program fails in country like us. Mandatory test and slaughter strategy or test and segregation. This is important thing, but we are not following our condition. We are not following. It is unsuccessful. Periodic retesting of infected herbs, quarantine, strong disinfection of fire. So these are the important things you usually take and you should you keep in mind. Okay. Now come to vaccination. So as you all know, vaccine against tuberculosis is not so much fruitful in animal, but human to prevent the human tuberculosis, we are using the BCG vaccine. That means Bacillus thuringiensis vaccine. This is made by the Mycobacterium tuberculosis bovis, Mycobacterium bovis ori. Though it affects the cattle, and vaccine produced by this strain is used in human. Okay, so in human population be contained by using the proper process. Okay, so this is all about the tuberculosis. Thank you for listening our questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye.